Have you ever wondered what a real estate agent's salary looks like? I'll bet you have. Everyone wants to know what kind of a salary real estate agents make. Well, first and foremost, it's important to say that real estate advisors do not earn a salary. Advisors are only compensated when they oversee a successful move into or out of a home. Being that advisors don't make a salary, there are many financial areas where the individual is obliged to provide for their own financial future. Basically, what I'm saying is that it's not a real job. And that's how it feels sometimes. It's not a real job, except that you are the CEO, the COO, the janitor, marketing, advertising. You wear all of the different hats. And so that means that there are different costs associated with those things. And if you want to have a retirement, that's on you. And the costs that advisors incur don't often get much screen time, like some of what I was talking about. So some of those costs are licensing fees. Before becoming a realtor, you got to pass a licensing exam and pay for the associated fees. And the cost varies by state, but it can range from about $100 to $400, something like that, just to take the test and that sort of thing. Next up is association fees. Most realtors are required to join a local or national real estate association. I'm sure you've heard a little bit about that recently. It's, we're talking about like the National Association of Realtors. And these associations often charge yearly or monthly fees, which can range from anywhere from, $500 all the way up to $2,000 per year. And then you got to do your continuing education. And to maintain a real estate license, agents need to complete a certain number of continuing education courses each year. And these courses can cost anywhere from $20 to $100 per class. Next, there's going to be MLS fees. You have a multiple listing service. It's a database of homes for sale in a particular area. That is going to be the place from which your real estate advisor is going to find your perfect home. That is their database of homes. And realtors have to pay to access this database, which can range anywhere from, $200 to $100 per month, depending on what state you're talking about. Then there's going to be marketing costs. If you want to be a good real estate agent, you really, really must market yourself and your properties, of course. And this can involve costs like professional photography, flyers, brochures, online listings. And that can all range from a few hundred to a few $1,000s, depending on what you're talking about. If you're talking about an $8 to $10 million house, I guarantee you those agents are spending thousands of dollars to make sure that home looks beautiful and that everyone is seeing it. Next up is insurance. Realtors have to get their own insurance. You got to have a certain kind of insurance policy, like errors and emissions insurance, to protect themselves from potential liability. And the cost of insurance can vary, but it's typically several $100s per year. Then you have to worry about transportation and mileage. As an advisor, you're likely going to spend a significant amount of time driving to showings and open houses. This results in high costs for gas, maintenance, and potential wear and tear on your vehicle. If you drive 2,000 miles a year, how lucky is that? That's very, very lucky, because I think many agents drive much more than that per year. Then there's going to be office and equipment expenses. Most advisors like to have an office space, but many work from home, that's true. However, I find that even the ones that work from home find the need to invest in technology and equipment like laptops, printers, cell phones. And if you work from an office, probably you're paying for that office space, the desk, or the internet, or other expenses like that. So either way, you're still kind of bearing the brunt of those expenses. I find that if you work from home as a real estate advisor, probably you'll get a better deal on printer and in the long run, and printing out your own stuff like that. So the next thing is going to be association event fees. Many Real estate associations hold events, conferences, and seminars that realtors attend for networking and education purposes, and these usually require registration fee, which can range from $50 to $1,000, depending on where you're going and what it is you're doing. And if you want to stay at the top of your game, you do these kinds of things because, believe it or not, knowing lots of other agents is the very, very best way to have a smooth transaction when you're representing a client. If you know the other agent on the other side, you have a good working relationship, it's much more likely to go smoothly. So it really does make a lot of sense to do these events. Then we're going to talk about commission splits. When working for a brokerage, most real estate advisors typically split with their commission with their brokerage, and the split can range anywhere from, 30-70 all the way up to 90-10. This means that for a $10,000 commission, the agent may only receive $5,000 to $9,000 after the split. So if you think about someone who's making $10,000, you think, oh my God, that's a lot of money. And then you hear that they actually only get to keep $5,000 of it, and you've been working with them for 5 months. That's $1,000 a month. So it's not quite as fancy as it sounds. Next, you've got health insurance, including HSA. I would say that this tends to be one of the bigger expenses. I tend to go with an HSA account because I like that tax advantage of having an HSA, but it usually also means that you're paying anywhere from $200 to $1,200 a month for health insurance, depending on how much money you're making that year. If you're having a good year, you're paying about $1,200 to $1,500 a month for insurance. And that's insurance that's not particularly going to cover a lot. That's for the that catastrophic event that happens. You get in a car crash, that kind of thing. It just prevents you from going entirely bankrupt due to that accident, because it starts to kick in after, $12, $14, $16,000 deductible, that kind of thing. Next, you got to talk about retirement contributions. I think the last time I had a real job, I was flabbergasted because I had forgotten how many things an employer contributes to. They're often contributing life insurance, they contribute to your retirement account, they help pay for your health insurance, and they might even give you a mileage rate to drive your car for events and whatever kind of thing you need to do. So being able to save enough money to have an actual retirement, to be able to stop working altogether, it can be a trying thing. If you take that $5,000 situation, if you make $5,000 over 5 months, that's only $1,000 a month, and more likely than not, you're spending a lot more than $1,000 a month just to survive, to pay your mortgage or your rent or whatever, feed your family, put gas in the car, attend those events, that kind of thing. So saving for retirement can be one of the more difficult things as a real estate advisor. Then you need to have the proper dress attire. If you don't look professional, truth is, I know some agents who absolutely dress like surf bums, and that works really well for them. But then I think there are other people who want to stay in sort of an upper echelon representing high net wealth people, and if you dress like a surf bum there, probably you're not going to last very long. And I think that's true for a lot of people. I don't know anyone who goes into real estate saying, I only want to work at the lowest dollar amount I possibly can. So I think most people do have some expenses when it comes to dress attire. And considering all that, the salary of a realtor can vary greatly based on a number of factors like location, experience, and success in sales. And really, like I said earlier, it's not success in selling a home, it's success in selling their experience and their expertise to you as a consumer. In the United States, the average annual salary for a real estate agent is around $75,000, according to the National Association of Realtors. But it is important to note that this figure greatly varies. There are some advisors earning well over 6 figures. They make just gobs of money. And then there are others that earn significantly less than $75,000 a year. And keep in mind that an average agent making $75,000 has all the above mentioned costs. So I think for a lot of people who work a W-2 job and they make $75,000 a year and they think like, well, what's the whining? Like, I make 75 and my life's great. But you also have to consider that maybe you're contributing to your health insurance and you're contributing to your retirement and you're contributing to these things, but you're not paying the whole cost of all of those things, which real estate advisors are absolutely doing. There's no match, there's none of that stuff. One of the main factors that can impact a realtor's salary is their location, obviously. Realtors who work in major cities, like high-end markets like New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, they tend to earn quite a bit more than those in smaller or less affluent areas. And this is due to the higher demand and higher prices for properties in those areas, which allows for larger commissions and sales. And experience is another important factor in determining a real estate agent's salary. As with many professions, the longer a realtor has been in the industry, the more they can expect to earn. And experienced advisors, they've built up a strong network and they just have a better understanding of the market, and they can negotiate higher commissions based on their track record of successful sales. And success in sales is perhaps the most critical factor in a realtor's salary. Yes, obviously you need to be good at negotiating the sale of a home for sure, but I find that the harder thing is earning the trust of strangers to help them through that process. That's far harder than it is to go put an offer in on a home and negotiate in a tough way, because when you're dealing agent to agent, you both know exactly where you stand. As the buyer's agent, you're trying to get the lowest cost. As the seller's agent, you're trying to get the highest cost. But when you're dealing with the public and you're trying to convey to them that you're trustworthy, I think that's a tough thing, especially in this era of digital marketing. People have been just bombarded with text messages and emails and spam phone calls, and even sometimes the mailers that come in the mail. I think, in the 90s, that was the thing that irked people, and now it's probably the text messages and the spam calls. But realtors earn their income through compensation on property sales, and it's typically around, I don't know, it does really depend on the agent. I know people who only work for 1%. Their model is, I'm going to work with a lot of people and charge a low compensation rate. And then there are some who are just steadfast, really got to make at least 3%, and sometimes they even make more. Sometimes they ask for 4 or 5%. They absolutely exist, 100%. And this means that the more properties an agent sells, the higher their income is going to be. And successful agents often have a combination of skills like strong marketing and negotiation abilities, as well as a deep understanding of the local market and the needs of their client. And I've noticed over the years that people have different strengths. Some people are very, very, very good at understanding the market, the local market, where it's going, where it's been, economics, that sort of thing. And then there are people who tend to be very, very, very good at finding clients and pulling them on their ship to make them their people. And those two skills, they both have their benefits, but just keep in mind that there are a lot of skills that you need to have a strong arm at. In addition to compensation, many agents also earn additional income through things like referral fees, or if they do property management and other related services related to real estate. And I've definitely heard people say that referral fees seem shady, but I think if you consider that you're helping guide someone through usually the biggest purchase of their entire life, and this person, you have a trusting relationship, and they are dropping their client into your lap to sort of transfer that trust. So this can add a significant amount to their total income and ultimately impact their salary. There are definitely quite a few agents out there who do property management and sell homes. It's important to note that being a realtor is not a traditional 9-to-5 job. It's kind of funny because I think a lot of people imagine real estate agents are laying on the beach all the time and enjoying their Mai Tais and living the carefree life. But the truth is that realtors often work long hours, including weekends, evenings, holidays. Basically, whenever you're not working, we are working. And the truth is that most agents are working to find clients in the day, and then they're working with the clients at night. So it's not uncommon to talk to an agent who works 70 or 80 hours a week at all. And the schedule can be unpredictable because you need to cater to the needs of your clients. And this means that while the annual salary may seem high, the hourly rate may not be as lucrative as it appears at first glance. Another factor that impacts a realtor's salary is the type of real estate they specialize in. Some agents focus on residential properties and others specialize in commercial or industrial properties. And the type of property being sold can also impact the commission rate, with the higher end properties typically yielding larger commissions. It makes sense that if you're helping someone to sell a $20 million building, you're gonna be compensated much more highly than if you're helping someone sell a $300,000 home. I would say it's also good to keep in mind that if you're helping someone sell a $20 million property, it's not likely taking you 30 to 60 days. It's probably taking a couple of years at a time. So keep in mind that although the numbers may seem big, the sacrifices to get big numbers are also big. They're concurrent with the earnings that an agent can make. So the salary of a realtor can vary greatly depending on the location, experience, their success in sales, their specialization. And while the average annual salary for a real estate agent in the US is around $75,000, successful realtors can earn significantly more and significantly less. And while starting out or in smaller markets may be even less than they might just be at the bottom there. That it might be one of the hardest places to start in a small market where there aren't a lot of transactions happening. Overall, being a realtor can be a lucrative career, but it requires hard work, dedication, ongoing education, training to succeed in this competitive industry. If you're thinking about becoming a real estate agent, I'm always happy to answer any questions. And maybe if you've just been curious what kind of money your real estate agent makes, maybe this will answer some of those questions. I think realtors could stand to be a little bit more transparent about these things because the idea of the realtor who pulls up in the Ferrari and fleeces you it's just prevalent. It's really, really prevalent. And the fact of the matter is, I know lots of agents who are extremely down to earth, very good people. And of course, there are the Ferrari driving hucksters out there too. If you need some help trying to find a home, let me know. I would love to help you get there. Thank you so much for watching.